Not much. What's going on, man?
Just sending nudes and fucking dudes.
All right, you do you, man. Now, were those nudes professionally taken?
Oh, of course.
Good. That's the way you got to do it here in the 2021.
Yeah, you gotta catch their attention. People are sending nudes everywhere. You gotta make sure yours stand out.
Right?
It's like a YouTube thumbnail.
Exactly.
Except it's your penis.
Right. Which isn't allowed to be your YouTube thumbnail.
Unless you sneak it in.
Maybe get a little sneaky with it.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of 21, our podcast is 21.
That's stupid.
Well, we made it to 21. It's an adult.
And I don't care.
It can buy itself a drink if it wants.
Nah, it's fucking dumb.
Or it could buy itself some non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah, that sounds fucking stupid.
What's even worse?
Joe
who?
Joe Mama.
Wow, okay. Just went straight in with that.
Yeah, I don't know.
How's your week going?
It's been a week, not really much going on.
Yeah, I hear you.
Released my video. People like it. That's all I can ask for.
Yeah, you did a really good job.
Thank you. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, I checked it out on Friday.
It was really epic. And if you haven't listened to it, if you haven't watched it yet and you're listening to this podcast, sounds like you're a terrible fucking person. And you probably drown cats.
Probably. It sounds like it.
So yeah, youtube.com/Captain Mack. Go watch it.
So I've got a story. It'll actually turn into a couple different stories. But one of these I've been sitting on for about a week now, and I have not told another person because I wanted to reveal it on the podcast.
Okay.
So did I tell you I guess this would have been a little over a year ago. Bradley was visiting his parents in Chicago, and he asked me to water his plants. Have I told you about this?
I think you did.
Okay, well, just as a refresher, because it's important to my story I'm getting to. So Bradley was out of town for a couple weeks, and he wanted to make sure his plants got watered. So he made a copy of his keys and mailed them to me.
Okay. Well,
this story is funny for multiple reasons. One, because I tried going into the wrong apartment.
Nice.
And I like to think that the person was home and just terrified that someone was trying to get in their apartment. This was like right in the middle of quarantine when everyone was home, and I'm like sitting here fiddling with the lock on the wrong apartment. Well, finally I get into Bradley's apartment, and he wants me to water his plants, right? So I'm on the phone with him, and he's giving me like very detailed instructions about how to water all of his plants, which one's which, exactly how much to give them. So he has these different drinking cups that he uses to measure. One of them is a SpongeBob cup.
Yeah, you told me about this. I remember this.
Yeah, so the SpongeBob cup, and his sister Emma went to school at Missouri. So Bradley has all these Mizzou cups that he got from his sister. So he would give me a direction and be like, "Oh, that gets one Mizzou cup and one SpongeBob cup. That one only gets half a SpongeBob cup." So we all thought this was hilarious, and Bradley's sister knew about it. Well, about a week ago, and the reason I didn't say anything is because I know Bradley listens, so I want him to hear this story for the first time just from listening to the podcast. But I get a snap from his sister of a new plant that she got, and she asked me how many SpongeBob cups I think it would take to water it.
Nice.
And I was like, "Oh, that's probably got to be like 3/4 of a SpongeBob cup." And she's like, "Oh God, I don't have a SpongeBob cup."
She's gonna have to get one.
She's like, "This thing is destined to die." And so I was like, "Well, I know you have plenty of those Mizzou cups. You'll have to do a little math, but the conversion rate is one SpongeBob cup to 0.37 Mizzou cups."
Just gotta do a little math to figure it out.
Yeah, you can make it work. You just got to do some math. So Bradley, that joke kept rolling, and I've kept that from you for at least over a week by the time this airs. So
I heard it first, Bradley.
Yeah, take that, Bradley.
I heard it almost a full week in advance.
Yeah, what up?
Fuck you. I love you, Bradley. I miss you.
Yeah, love you, Bradley. Miss you too.
That does remind me, Bradley, is also a fan of the show Better Call Saul, which Sean and I watched. For some fucking reason, I don't know what's up with this. So if you aren't already aware, like Netflix has different shows and movies available dependent on like what country you're in. So a big selling point of a lot of like VPNs, which allow you to kind of change like where Netflix thinks you're coming from.
Yeah.
Is like, oh, you can watch all of the different shows. And so we watched the first 4 seasons of Better Call Saul and we were like, oh man, can't wait for the 5th. And it turned out the 5th was already out.
Okay.
And it was the 6th that was not yet. So we were like, well, shit, why isn't it on Netflix? That sucks. And so I found out not long after that, like it was on Netflix, but only like basically only not in America. Like everywhere else had it.
What?
Just not America.
Okay.
So I had to install a VPN so we could watch Better Call Saul season 5. And I couldn't even like watch it through like my Chromecast. Like I watch everything. I had to like, I have this 50 foot HDMI cable I use for various shit. I had to run that from my computer over to my TV so we could watch some good old Saul.
Ugh.
It was a really good season though. He finally started going by Saul, so you know.
So it's not released in the US right now?
Yeah, like well no, like the show is releasing like it aired on like AMC in the US. It's just not available on Netflix in the US.
Huh.
It's in the UK. It's fucking Italy, probably Japan. Can't watch it in the US on Netflix though.
Huh. Is there any sort of like timeline or release date or anything?
I have no idea.
You just didn't bother, just straight VPN.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've already seen it now, so I don't give a shit.
Don't give a fuck. Nah. I gotcha.
And speaking of just watching shit, I mean, I don't have anything in particular to talk about in terms of watching anything, but because like I worked so hard on getting my Berserk video done.
Mm-hmm.
It was weird, like not having anything to do for the first time in like a week and a half. Like I'd been like every day that I came home, like as soon as I got home, like I'd like make a sandwich and just work on the video. Like as soon as I got home till I had to go to bed, and then I'd like get up, go to work, come home, edit. As soon as I got home till I got to bed on my days off. As soon as I woke up until I needed to go to bed, I was just constantly working on the video.
Yeah.
So I just had to like decompress it and get back to normalcy in terms of like I got home on Sunday, which is the normal day, or not home. I woke up on Sunday, which is the day that I watch movies or shows with Sean. And like, I was like, well, I'm not going to live stream because Sean's coming over, but I don't have any work to do. So I guess I'll just fucking play some of my truck game and chill out.
Nice. That's good. You got to chillax a little bit.
Do some trucking and fucking. You know how it'd be.
Right? Got to go pick up those lot lizards.
Pick up those. Yeah, exactly. You get it.
Yeah, I get exactly what you're talking about.
And that also loops us back to Better Call Saul because truckers do meth. So, you know.
There you go.
It all connects.
Nice. I like it. If you want to do the question game, I got a series of questions for you if you want.
I don't have any. I didn't know we were doing that again. So
I don't know. I just have them. I had them just in case. And yeah, sure. Why not? Let's just go for it. Your 5 questions, rapid fire. Favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle?
Michelangelo.
Who's your guilty pleasure music artist? Like who do you like that you're a little embarrassed to admit that you like?
I don't think I have anybody like that. I guess maybe Foster the People because they're pretty mainstream, but
pretty mainstream. What's your favorite pizza topping?
Pepperoni.
Okay. Favorite TV show of all time?
Breaking Bad.
Okay. And hamburger or hot dog?
Hamburger.
Nice.
Hamburger.
I'm right there with you with Michelangelo. Definitely.
He was the party dude.
Yeah, right? He ate pizza all the time.
What do you want to hang out with that emo bitch Raphael? No, fuck that.
Nah, fuck him. All about Michelangelo. Guilty pleasure music artist, Katy Perry, 100%.
Really? I didn't know you were a Katy Perry guy.
Fucking love me some Katy Perry.
I'm trying to think. I want to look through my music real quick. Like, the only reason I can think of Foster People is because like they're probably the most popular band that I listen to.
I got you.
And that doesn't make it more embarrassing, but like I'm really not like embarrassed by the music I listen to, I wouldn't say.
Yeah, I got you. I mean,
it's what I like. I can't help it.
I got you. My favorite pizza topping is definitely ham. I'm a big ham fan.
I don't dislike ham on pizza, but there's something about like the texture that I'm like, I'd rather do without. Like, I'm not a huge fan of ham on pizza.
Okay, right on. That's cool. Favorite all-time TV show is Seinfeld. And then hamburger or hot dog. Generally speaking, I would say hamburger, but it's got to be a good hamburger. If it's like a shitty burger, then I'll take a dog.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I guess I do feel like for the most part, unless you're going with those whatever what the fuck was that brand even called?
Oh God, the really bad hot dogs.
Yeah,
it was
red
like
something.
Bar S.
Bar S. That's it. The package was red. So
yeah,
unless we're talking like that, like you really can't go with a hot dog. You can't go bad with a hot dog,
right?
But I mean, like, I also haven't had a lot of experiences where I felt like someone's gone wrong with a hamburger. I feel like the worst hamburgers are the dads at barbecues who say they make the best hamburger. Like, maybe that's a bit of a hot take, but usually their hamburgers are dry and terrible.
Right. Yeah, I'll go with you on that. I'll back you up.
Like, what's up with that? Why do dads suck so much with making hamburgers?
But yet all claim that they're the best hamburgers.
Yeah, like, why do they get so competitive about making hamburgers when they're all bad at it?
Right.
What's up with that?
I'll give you that. Yeah, that's
so weird.
Such a dad thing.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Oh, I didn't pull any dad picks for this week.
Oh, you were supposed to do that.
Fuck, I was.
Damn, dude.
I completely forgot about it until we were talking about dads.
Who's the hottest TV dad then?
Ooh, hottest TV dad. Damn. I don't know. Do you have one in mind?
I mean, I do think Hank Hill's pretty good looking, you know? Maybe it's just because... I don't know. He's got a bit of a dump truck ass, you know.
I gotcha.
He fits a riding lawnmower really well.
Right. Yeah, he does fill out a John Deere pretty well. I like that.
Yeah. And then like he's either got the white t-shirt or like the blue button up. He keeps it simple.
Right. I like it.
But and like I guess I don't know if I would. I guess this isn't really a cartoon dad. No, never mind. Mr. Incredible's pretty hot too because he's so big.
Yeah, he's a big beefy dude. I'll give you that. Yeah. He's an attractive dad.
In the part of the movie before he works out and he's just like this fat depressed piece of shit. Like that's less interesting, but when he bulks up again, it's
hell
a good
yeah.
look for him.
Hell yeah.
I do love in the Incredibles series like how varied the proportions are for all the characters.
Yeah.
Like I love how Jack is literally like the size of Mr. Incredible's hand. Like he's a fucking giant compared to his children.
Yeah.
Like fuck, what's the daughter's name?
Violet
is like a 16-year-old girl, but she's still like literally half as tall as him.
Yeah.
Like 16-year-olds are short, but not that short.
And she's so incredibly skinny compared to him.
Oh my God, she has like twig limbs.
Yeah. Like it would take like 10 Violets to equal the width of one Mr. Incredible.
One of his biceps.
Right. I get that they're trying to make the point that he's very strong and she's a teenage girl, but like that's not possible.
Yeah. Nah, but I love that. I love how with cartoons, that's the word. It's also kind of the worst part about cartoons. Like you got to be careful with it, right? Like that uncanny valley shit. Like you can play with proportions a lot in cartoons, but when you get to like monsters versus aliens shit, like that's so like it looks disgusting.
Yeah.
So, but there's this really good anime called Kill la Kill.
Okay.
And they do a lot of fun shit with proportions, especially with this character named Gamagori. Gamagori is like a pretty big dude, like that's part of his character, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they go to town with it, like literally making him like a giant in some scenes.
Nice.
And like it's more than just the way that they draw him. Like they'll have other characters use him as like a step ladder, and there'll be like a tiny little speck on his shoulder, whereas in other scenes they're like only up to his shoulder. Like they just rapidly change his proportions for the sake of like visual comedy.
Yeah.
I really like that kind of thing.
Nice. I was thinking the other day, we've talked about a lot of our former coworkers. There is one that I don't know how we have missed mentioning her, but our homegirl Hannah.
I figured you were going to say Hannah.
Like we have talked so much about so many people, and she is such a character.
Well, I think the reason, like, I'm not saying that this is like a reason not to talk about her, but the reason I don't think we've talked about her is because, like, all of our other coworkers like overlap with one another because we all had like relationships with one another, you know?
Right.
So like a story about Tim can lead into a story about Marco, can turn into a story about Crystal, whatever
Sure.
else. Hannah was just like this enigma who like all of her stories are completely based around her.
Yeah.
Like you have to bring up Hannah like you just have now to like talk about Hannah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a pretty good point. There is one specific Hannah story that sticks out in my head, and you were involved in this one. So 1 year we got some seasoned dried crickets as human food.
Yeah.
And we all thought, hey, why not? Let's give these a try, see what this is all about. To be fair, they weren't actually that bad. They didn't really taste like much of anything.
I really didn't like them. Like the taste wasn't a problem. It was just like the fact that you bit into it and it like split into like millions of little parts and like coated your throat. That fucking killed me.
Yeah, your throat was covered in little bits of crispy
teriyaki bug.
Yeah. So the flavor wasn't bad. They were just a little weird. But we thought, well, this Hannah girl, she's a real character. Let's see if she'll try some.
But we were playing a little bit tricky. Like we know Hannah doesn't tend to read things.
Correct.
So we didn't necessarily tell her what we were giving her, but I believe we picked out like the barbecue flavor.
Yeah, we handed her the package that said crickets on it.
And she looked at it and instead of asking like, is this bugs? She goes, is this going to be spicy?
Right.
Because the barbecue flavor, like the barbecue flavor label was like wrapped up in like a little flame design.
Yeah. And so,
so somehow it went over her head that we were giving her a bag of dried bugs.
Yeah.
But she was really worried that they were going to be spicy.
Right. And this whole time, like Mac and I are kind of looking at each other like, oh God, when is she going to have a problem with the fact that they're crickets?
Yeah. So we were trying to tell her like, no, they're not spicy.
No, they're definitely not spicy.
Don't worry about it.
You do not have to worry about that. So she opens up the package and has a very distinct reaction.
Why is it bugs?
Oh, why is it bugs? Did she ever even end up trying one?
Yeah, she did. She liked them.
Oh,
but like that reaction was so fun. The funny part about that is that she like was so distracted by whether or not it would be spicy that she somehow didn't notice that there was a bag full of crickets in her hands.
Right. A bag that says on the label that it is dry roasted crickets.
But no, as soon as she did notice, why is it bugs?
It's bugs.
It's a very funny sentence.
Classic Hannah. Miss that girl. Wonder how she's doing.
Yeah, who knows? I haven't kept in contact with her.
No, I haven't either.
It's funny how unsociable I am sometimes.
Yeah, because I can be the same way at times.
I really keep to myself in a lot of ways. There are people I work with that I've worked with since I started working there that I still don't know the name of. And
okay.
It's more forgivable because I work with so many people, but especially like the people that I see frequently. So like, I go in early in the morning.
Yeah.
So my schedule overlaps with the overnighters, which there aren't that many of, but I still don't know a bunch of their names. Like this one girl stopped me today and was like, what is your name today? And I was like, oh, I'm Mac. And we like, talked for a second, and she was like, I'm always wondering who you are, but like, you don't really talk much. And I was like, yeah, no, I don't really socialize much. Like I kind of just keep to myself. And I was like, don't think I'm not friendly. Like if you want to talk, like let's talk. I just don't actively engage in getting to know people.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is it's more understandable that you don't know everyone's name, but I feel like everyone should know your name. Like you're fairly recognizable. Like your hair makes you stand out. There's no way that you're going to blend in and be like, oh, I don't know. I think that's that other dude from some other department.
I mean, it does make me, easy to call out. Like if people need to refer to me, it's just like, oh, the guy with the hair.
Yeah.
That's all they need to say. People always know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. You're not just like some random like brown haired dude with glasses. Like, you could have like 15 of them that you work with that all fit that description. So I can see how people would get them mixed up, but you stand out.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. But and then I ran into someone at the grocery store today who I apparently used to work with. I didn't know she stopped working at where I work.
At least you knew who she was.
Yeah. So I said, like, are you still working there? Like, I haven't seen you in a while. She was like, no, I haven't worked there since like March.
You know.
It's just one of those things where, like, you know, you notice when somebody is there, but unless it's someone like that, like you're friends with or you talk with regularly, it might not like activate your brain to be like, oh, this person isn't there. Like, you don't necessarily notice their absence.
Yeah.
So I never noticed her absence, and it's not like I didn't like her. Like, I'd spoken to her a few times. She was very nice. I just never noticed her absence.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. I feel like we had coworkers that were like that, where I mean, obviously I had to know who everyone was at World Market, but like
it was easier there because there was less people. You know, there was like 30 people at max.
Yeah.
I work with like 150 people, so
yeah. It did come across as a little weird though. Our girl Lindsay, who still works at World Market again.
Right.
She so you know, like there were very few people that we worked with that I did not like.
Right. Usually it was the seasonal people, and they usually didn't last long.
Yeah, so it really didn't make a difference. But Lindsay told me like not long before I left that she thought I didn't like her.
Really?
Yeah, for like a really long time.
Really? That's weird.
Yeah, like she'd worked there at least 6 months, if not like a year.
She worked there for a while.
Yeah.
I think it may have been more than a year.
Yeah, no, and
because I want to say she started on seasonal like the year before.
Yeah,
we had left.
Yeah, something like that. But I don't know. For some reason, she thought I didn't like her.
That's odd.
And I was like, no, you're like one of my favorite.
Lindsay was a really funny one. Oh, okay. I forgot. What was his name from the other store? Eric?
That was someone from another store.
I'm pretty sure it was Eric. So, you know, Lindsay got hired while we did not have a GM, and we had people coming to the store to help us out. Eric being one of those people.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we got Lindsay's application, and so I was sitting in the office with Eric, and Eric goes, "Oh, this girl sounds hot."
I remember that.
And so I'm like trying not to laugh, and I like walk over and I like look at the application and I read the name, and I was like, "Oh, this is Teresa's daughter."
Yep. And
so my immediate reaction was like, if it's Teresa's daughter, we don't even have to interview her. Just hire her.
Right.
Teresa's such a badass mom. She would never like raise a shitty worker.
Right.
And even if she did, like, Teresa would be there to whip her into shape because Teresa wouldn't put up with that shit.
Right. Yeah.
So I was like, oh, you can go ahead and hire her. But like that reaction killed me.
Oh man, she sounds hot.
His reasoning was that she had put on her resume that she was on the rowing teams, and he was like, oh, she's a rower. She must have like a fit body. And I was like, what the hell, Eric? Like,
right.
And like, because Eric was from the store that he was from, like everybody from that store, because of who their GM was, like when they came at first, gave off like a very professional attitude.
Yeah.
And like acted very like, you know, retail focused, and like they were, you know, an example of what the company expects. But then, and like, you know, some of them lived up to that, but other ones like Eric, like he got to know him well enough, and the skin shed a little bit, and he was just as shitty as everybody else.
Right. Well, because then we find out that he like went and like smoked weed on his lunch break.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Eric was a good dude though. I liked him.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun.
Once I got to know him, of course. But.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he was a goofy motherfucker.
Yeah.
I feel like him and Marco would have got along really well.
Yeah, probably. You're probably right.
Because he gave off kind of that like stoner surfer vibe.
Definitely.
That Marco also kind of gave off.
Definitely he did. Was he doing a bun, or did he just do the ponytail?
He did a bun for sure.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I definitely remember seeing him with a man bun like our boy Ken has.
Yeah.
Who he's driving for DoorDash. I don't know if that's like a side gig or if he's doing that full time now or what, but
it's probably a side gig because he has a child now.
That's my guess.
And he had a pretty good job, so
yeah.
Ken always managed to like do well.
Yeah, for being a dick, he somehow managed to like not get caught being a dick and getting complained about.
Yeah.
I don't know. He wasn't wrong
No.
with his phrase.
No, I mean,
If you don't teach them, they won't learn.
no, he just went about it the wrong way a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God. We had previously talked about like jaywalkers and people just crossing whenever the hell they feel like.
I feel like Ken would have hit them with his car.
Yeah, so I had a situation. This was about a week ago, I guess. I was downtown and I was parked in a parallel spot, but I was like one spot away from the stoplight where there was a crosswalk. And but I had a green light, so I could have gone right through the light, and the crosswalk told people not to walk in front of me. But these two older women, probably in their 60s, just decided to take their time and cross the street. So I don't say anything. I just stare at them and just shake my head back and forth in disappointment.
I like it.
I gave him the parent, I'm not mad at you. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah.
So hopefully they had to deal with that for the rest of the day, at least.
They probably forgot about it as soon as I got to the other side of the street.
Yeah, they probably didn't even understand why I was shaking my head at them, but I like to think a little part of that message got through to them.
Here's hoping.
Yeah, that's people. But they should have known better. They were old enough.
How did your parents raise you?
Right? Your parents should have raised you better.
In the 1890s.
Right? God. Fucking people. Swear sometimes.
Imagine being old. Kind of cringe.
Yeah, remember when you had your thing where what was the age you didn't want to live to be older than 50?
Yeah. I mean, I still stand up to that at a certain extent. I don't want to be old. I don't want to like become movement or mentality impaired. As soon as people start talking to me like a baby again, throw me off a cliff. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm not living through that shit. Like,
no.
I don't want to go through the cycle of life where like you start in diapers being talked to like a baby and you end in diapers being talked to like a baby. Like as soon as you stop treating me like an adult, I'm good. Like I don't need to be alive anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it for me.
That's fair.
Luckily, I'm not going to have kids or anything, so I won't have people coming and visiting me when I'm old, but
yeah, you just have some stranger treating you like a baby.
Or maybe I'll blow up in popularity and then I can have fans stop by and visit me when I'm old.
Maybe.
That'd be pretty sick.
Hell yeah. Please tell me you're going to keep that hair when you're old.
We'll see.
Hopefully. You had it as a kid. You've got it as an adult. Why not have it as an elderly gent?
I didn't have it as a kid.
Again, in my head.
No, it doesn't fucking matter what's in your head, Michael. This is the real world. What do you have, schizophrenia?
Don't worry about it. Maybe I do. Maybe I got that dementia like Tim.
I hope you get proper treatment.
Thank you. I hope I do too. I got a little something we can try out here. I don't completely want to rip it off, and we can't because we only have two people. But my favorite radio station, they started doing a game during my favorite show, and they call it 3, 2, 1 Jinx. And both people just get a topic, and you count down from 3, and you just name the first thing in that topic that comes to your head. Now you can play it either what you think I'm going to say, what the most popular thing is, just whatever you say. If we get it wrong, if we don't match, then we have to go again, but we can't repeat either of the first two.
Okay.
Okay. I got a couple easy ones. I think to get us started out, and we'll just see how it goes. It's a ton of fun on the radio, but they have two competing teams, so it might not exactly translate. All right, so the first one's going to be pizza topping. Okay?
All right.
So I'll say 3, 2, 1, and just name a pizza topping.
All right.
Okay? 3, 2, 1, pepperoni. Nice. Ice cream flavor. 3, 2, 1, vanilla.
Cookies and cream.
Okay, so now we have to go again. But you can't say cookies and cream or vanilla. 3, 2, 1, chocolate.
Chocolate chip.
Okay, so no cookies and cream.
You chose the most boring flavors.
Well, okay, I thought I picked the basic ones.
Basic bitch.
What was the last one you said?
Mint chocolate chip.
Okay. All right. Last round. 3, 2, 1. Moose
Neapolitan.
Tracks. God damn it.
I just wanted to fuck you over on that one.
Oh, fucking fine. Oh, it would have been really funny if I did guess Neapolitan, though.
That would have been a Pogger's moment, but unfortunately, you fucked it up.
Neapolitan is a highly underrated ice cream flavor.
I'm not a big fan.
I like you get a little bit of everything. Yeah.
I like some uniformity.
All right. Tom Hanks movie.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Forrest Gump.
I knew it.
Nice. Video game character. 3, 2, 1. Mario. Type of cookie. 3, 2, 1. Chocolate chip. All right. I wanted to make it kind of easy. Just, see how that went.
Anime character. 3, 2, 1. Luffy. You fucking suck.
Dragon Ball.
You just
Z
watched
guy.
my video. You could have at least said Guts or Griffith.
Oh, damn it. Damn it. Yeah, I did just watch that. Fuck.
What did you say? Dragon Ball?
Yeah, the Dragon Ball guy.
His name is Goku.
Yeah, Goku. That's mine. Yeah. I went with it. Goku. Yeah,
you didn't go with it. You went Dragon Ball guy.
Yeah, he's my favorite. Everyone knows who I'm talking about when I say Dragon Ball guy.
Not other non-weebs.
They probably all any non-weebs probably know him as Dragon Ball guy.
Maybe, unless they never heard of Dragon Ball either.
Well, then they're really boomers at that point, because even I know that Dragon Ball exists.
But you don't know the guy.
Yeah. I've never actually watched or read or played Dragon Ball.
You can the manga is the original version, the anime is an adaptation, and there are games. So
okay.
Dragon Ball isn't that good though.
Okay. Fair enough.
It's one of those things that's just like super popular because it has like decent action, but that's really all it's got going for it. Its story is pretty fucking weak.
Okay.
Like its story is basically a vehicle to facilitate fights, so it's not really a story at all.
Oh, all right. I saw that Burger King just jumped into this chicken sandwich game.
Oh yeah,
along with everybody else, and just like everybody else, they have an original and a spicy.
Nice.
I feel like at some point you and I really need to do a spicy chicken taste test.
I really like the advent of spicy chicken, to be honest. Like, spicy chicken's fucking good. And I didn't really know that until like everybody started, shoving it in my face.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Gross. Those, yeah, I've done, let's see, I've had the Popeyes, KFC, and McDonald's.
I had Wendy's spicy nugs and they were pretty good. They were a bit too spicy though.
Really?
For me, you have to keep that in mind.
A little spicy for Mac's little baby tongue?
Yeah. My little boy tongue. That's what I call it.
Yeah, your little boy tongue.
My sensitive little boy tongue.
Yeah. Yeah. Your little twink boy tongue.
Yeah, I guess.
Because you're a skinny little twink boy.
I said man. I said skeleton twink man. Oh wait, no, maybe I did say boy. I don't fucking know.
Boy's funnier.
Probably.
Well, a little twink boy. That's fine. What do you have going on for the rest of the week?
Well, I'm going to start playing a video game, and I won't say what it is off stream because I'm thinking about doing a video on it. I never actually finished it, so it's going to be really hard to make a video on it if I don't actually finish it. But at the same time, if in finishing it, I ruin my own point with my video, then I don't want to talk about what the game is in case I end up ruining that video. So
fair enough. I'll give you that.
I started playing Microsoft Flight Simulator on stream recently. That's been really fun.
Okay.
You wouldn't know about this, but Microsoft Flight Simulator, they had their newest. They've made multiple Flight Simulator games, but like the newest one, the 2020 version, like blew up in popularity because of like two things that they implemented.
Mm-hmm.
The first one being they created like a 1-to-1 scale version of the Earth using satellite imagery.
Okay.
So like, if you're flying, sorry, there's a fly. It's bugging the hell out of me. if you fly over like Detroit, like you're gonna see all the buildings in their right place.
That's cool.
In Detroit, all the streets in their right place is not like simulated, like because they just use like actual images of the Earth.
Yeah.
And the second reason being like that same like they use those same satellites to simulate what the weather and traffic is like in those areas as you're flying over them.
Oh, nice. Like in real time?
In real time.
Nice.
Which is really cool.
That's some attention to detail that's not necessary, but is awesome at the same time.
Like super appreciated.
Yeah.
And I mentioned on stream, like flying over the Earth in Microsoft Flight Simulator, like something I potentially be interested in making a video about at some point is how bland a lot of video game maps are.
Okay.
Like games always, like especially over the past like decade or so, like games have continually tried to be like, oh, check out our open world, it's the biggest of all, check out our open world, like it has the most variety, and like all of them fuck it up in some way.
Okay.
Like a lot of them don't have verticality, like they're just like flat lands. A lot of them don't have a lot of variety, it's just like nonstop grass or whatever.
Yeah.
A lot of them don't like have interesting things to actually look at, they just have a large map. And so, of course, there's a few exceptions. Like Breath of the Wild does not have a particularly large map, but it has an extremely diverse one. Like there's deserts, there's tundras, there's like a tropical area, grasslands, like a volcano area. Like there's a ton of stuff to see. But it's missing a lot of verticality. Like there's a lot of verticality upwards, but there's not a lot downwards. Like for a Legend of Zelda game, especially, like there's not a lot of caves to explore. There's not a lot to like dip down into. There's a lot of mountains to climb, but not a lot to like go down into.
Yeah.
And then like Ghost of Tsushima, one of my favorite games of last year, that game fucking crushed it on its map. And it wasn't particularly large, but it just had a lot of areas to see and a lot of like verticality and a lot of like variability within that format. And so like what I was saying on stream is like by playing Microsoft Flight Simulator has reminded me even more how bland a lot of video game maps are. Cause like you look out over like Italy as you're flying by and you see like so many different roads, so many like different like little patches of forest and then little farmlands and then little grass fields and then like rises in elevation and then sudden drops. Like there's so much fucking variability like in the actual real world.
Yeah.
That like game creators should really look at Microsoft Flight Simulator to try to build their own world because it's based on the real world. You know?
No, that's great.
And there seems to be like a pretty niche community with that because I've only streamed it twice and I've gained like 7 followers from it.
Nice.
And both streams that have had a ton of viewers. So for whatever reason, people will be watching that Flight Simulator.
Nice. I definitely remember playing a very early version of Microsoft Flight Simulator. Like
I do as well. I think it may have been pre-installed on one of my computers.
Yeah.
Like super rudimentary, and I definitely didn't figure it out.
Yeah. For me, it would have been in 7th grade. I think it was maybe only a semester or even just like a quarter of the year. I had like a technology class where we had different stations, and one of them was like video production, and one of them was like something with graphics, and one of them was Flight Simulator, and it had like the all the controls and like pedals and
that's cool
and everything. But I mean, literally all we did was just crash it into things.
Oh, of course, that's usually the default.
That's really all we did.
It would be cool to get like a flight stick set up to play that game, but I mean, we'll see, I guess, because I did buy the wheel for the truck game.
You did.
It's definitely going to depend on how much but like flight sticks are expensive. So, you know, I've been playing on a controller and that's been fine so far.
Yeah.
But no, really fun game. It's interesting to fly in that game because of the 1-to-1 scale. Like what looks like a small trip on the map ends up taking like several hours. Like all I did on my last live stream, like I set up a flight where I was flying from like there's the southern like Italian islands, and like I set it up so I'm flying from one island over the sea onto the next, and I ended up like flying over the sea for a solid almost 2 hours in the stream. Because it was just like they were so much further apart that like I ended up spending that entire live stream in Italy when I only expected it to be like half of the stream.
Gotcha. Because it's all 1-to-1, so it took you a while to actually get there.
Yeah, because I was actually flying in like that space. It's crazy. It's a fun game, but crazy shit.
So are flight times like real time then?
They are in theory. I don't know. I think it predicts the amount of time you're going to fly based on like your plane's capabilities.
Okay.
But I think somehow I fucked it up because I'm new to the game. Because like the prediction was only for an hour and 42 minutes, but it took me 3 hours.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I was just curious because, like whatever flights from, New York to whatever, India take like, whatever, like 14 hours or however long it takes.
Yeah, it was totally an option.
Really? Yeah. That's actually really cool.
Yeah, I was thinking like if I really wanted to do like a marathon live stream, I could just do like that would be super boring, but I could do like a flight. You know what? I could do a flight over the Atlantic Ocean, which would be hyper boring because it'd just be like the Atlantic Ocean the entire fucking time.
Right.
But it'd be even cooler. Like if I were to do a flight like from one side of China to the other, that would also be like a dozen hour plus live stream.
Yeah.
And there'd probably be a lot to see. So
right. Yeah, that actually would probably be a lot more interesting than just ocean.
Yeah. It's an interesting game to stream because like it's super chill when you're in the air.
Mm-hmm.
But like both takeoff and landing are very stressful, at least for me because I'm new to the game.
Right.
Like landing the plane is hard.
Right. When you're actually trying to land it and not just crash it into something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotcha. Right on.
Yeah, so I've mostly I've mostly flown smaller planes so far, like private jets or like a little luxury, like 5-person plane. But there are like jets in the game that I haven't touched yet.
Nice. You gonna bust into that pretty soon?
Eventually, yeah. I've already done the tutorial for like takeoff and landing, and it's much harder, obviously, because it's a much larger aircraft.
Yeah.
But
well, it sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's been interesting. It's been a lot of fun to do that. I really have to be like thankful towards my viewers because they're very dedicated. Like Scorpion and Microwave and Shupwoop and Noah and whoever else. I'm sorry if I forgot to mention any names. People get mad when I don't mention their names.
Oh, I bet.
But they stop into so many of my live streams and they watch for so long and they're such active chatters that like playing games like that. If I was streaming to 0 viewers or to quiet viewers would be a lot less fun. Because, again, I spent like 2 hours just flying over the Mediterranean Sea.
Right. So, yeah, you probably have plenty of time to chat and interact. And
exactly. But if they weren't like talking and they weren't like bouncing stuff off of me for me to talk about like we're doing here on the podcast, like it would basically just be me like trying desperately to fill the air while I run out of things to talk about because all I'm seeing is clouds and the color blue.
Right.
But no, like I said, I've been getting a lot of extra viewers off of playing that. So there's also been a lot of people watching and not chatting, and I appreciate them just as much. But it's been nice because like back in the day when I first started live streaming, games like that were hard to stream because again I'd run out of stuff to talk about. But nowadays when I've had people watching actively and frequently, like it's a lot. It's those are my favorite games to play because I enjoy that interaction aspect of streaming so much.
I gotcha. Yeah, for sure. I used to be a big like bar trivia player, and different trivia companies that come in and host it do things different ways. And one of them, like every time you get a question, your team has so much time to come up with an answer, and then you have to someone has to run up and turn it in. Whereas a different company that did it, you got like a series of 5 questions that all had the same theme. And then you just turn it in at the end. And I thought that was a lot more fun because it gave you time not only to think about previous questions, but it gave your team time to like chat and socialize in between questions instead of just, someone constantly being away from the table.
Yeah, that makes sense. Seems like a good way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I need to go do that again. Yeah. Trivia.
I'd be really bad at any trivia game because I don't know a lot of trivia that questions would probably be being asked about. I can tell you a lot about One Piece. I can tell you the name of just about every minor character in that series, but
if there was ever a One Piece category, Matt's going to be my phone a friend. Yeah, I don't know enough about One Piece to even pretend to come up with a question to ask you, but I'm sure you'd know the answer to it.
Oh yeah. Oh God. It's sometimes I think about how much I know about One Piece because I'll just be thinking about One Piece casually, as I frequently do. And I'll just be thinking about like some minor thing that happened like hundreds of chapters back. And I'll be like, man, I've really memorized the shit out of One Piece.
Nice. That's good though.
Like there aren't a lot of details I don't remember anymore.
Yeah, right on. I gotcha.
Because I've done like 6 read-throughs of One Piece in the time that I've been reading. Like I did my initial read-through to catch up, but then like after I catch up, like every couple years, I'll do an entire read-through up to the point that it's currently at.
I gotcha.
So there's multiple arcs that I've read through a few different times, and so I've got like an encyclopedia like knowledge of One Piece.
Right on. Hey, you got your knowledge in something.
Porn also.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah. I do think it's cool to have like an expert level knowledge on something, even if it's completely unimportant.
It does feel kind of good because like, Scorpion was watching through One Piece not that long ago. He's kind of taking a break from it right now. I'm hoping he'll get back into it because he's got to catch up, and so I can talk about shit.
Right.
But it's one of those things where it's like he'll bring up like a minor thing that happened like in the early chapters, and I'll be like, yep, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep.
Without even thinking about it. And like he didn't bring up a single character that I didn't know. And it's like there are so many fucking characters in One Piece. Like there's the major characters and the major villains, but there's like tons of minor characters that like don't appear for that long or aren't super important to the plot. But like I fucking know all of them.
How many times have you read through it now?
I think it's about 6. I haven't like kept track.
Yeah.
But the first time I read through One Piece, I think it took me a solid year or so to get through it in its entirety because I wasn't obsessed with it at the time.
Yeah.
But usually when I read through One Piece, it takes a few months because there's a lot to read.
Yeah, no, it's understandable.
And I do take my time with it. I don't like rushing through it.
Yeah, I mean, if you like it, you want to enjoy it. It's not about getting to the end. It's about the journey.
It's about the journey. And it really is with One Piece. There's only like one arc I can name that I don't enjoy reading.
Okay.
There's only one part in the story, and Scorpion will know exactly what I'm talking about. Like there's only one part of the story that I don't actively enjoy reading. Like every other part, I'm like, I don't want to rush this. I want to like take my time with it and like remember how great it is.
Yeah.
But I had another thought after that, but it's gone now. So
okay. Have you heard from your friend Austin this week?
I mean, not really.
Okay, I don't know. It just seems like Austin's been brought up a lot recently.
Well, because like he let me know that he was listening to the episode where we talked about his hot mom,
right?
And like ever since then, he's been like letting me know his reactions to certain things, which has been cool. I've been enjoying that,
right?
But he did confirm that the Order of the Arrow is a cult.
Nice.
He did not. He told me he did not make it to like. You remember I was telling you there's like the 3 different ranks. He did not make it to the 3rd rank. He was supposed to, but something got fucked with his paperwork.
Oh damn.
Yeah,
he'd have been like in the cult for life.
Yeah, he did not get the flaming triangle thrown at him.
Oh, he didn't get the nickname either, did he?
No, he did not.
Oh, I imagine the nickname would have just been Hot Mom. Oh, Austin, love that dude.
He's a good guy.
We need some more Austin.
He's a good dude. I miss Austin. He was one of those people cycle in and out in terms of like summer camp. Like a lot of people who work at summer camps only work there for a year.
Yeah.
But Austin was one of those people who he worked there. It may have been his first year when I first started working there, and he worked there the last year I worked there too. So he was along for the ride. He was there the entire time, and he was a really good dude. I know I have a picture from like I think my 2nd year on staff, like a selfie of him and I together, and it was just like both of us smiling and like standing really close together, and the caption was just like gay marriage got legalized.
Okay,
which is a pretty good meme. His first year working at the summer camp, he worked in the dining hall, and he was like their dishwasher.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone loved Austin because like no one liked doing dishes.
Right? No, I can't imagine.
But he was just on top of it every night, and like a lot of people like the problem with the dining hall is like they were kind of like the silent face of the camp, because everybody else who worked at the camp, like they'd have to be there at flags, they had to be there for all like the events, they had to do like the fire rings, they all like taught their own classes, and like we all interacted with one another. But like the dining hall, like they get up super early so they can make breakfast. They're in the dining hall during flags because they have to make and serve like breakfast and dinner.
Yeah.
They get to, so they spend the days like making the food or like cleaning up after the food. Like you don't really see them. Like the dining hall is kind of like a close-knit area where like all of them know each other.
Yeah.
But there are people who worked in the dining hall throughout my years at the camp who I legitimately can't tell you the name of because I really didn't interact with them much.
Right. Just like the people you work with.
Right. And so Austin was, he was the hands you saw when you like put your food up at the dishwashing place, because he'd like grab them and pull them back.
I gotcha.
But he was like one of the few dining hall people who like broke out of the dining hall. Like people knew him, but he was just like, for his first year there, he was just like this silent face who like took care of all the dishes, and we all loved him for it because no one wanted to do it.
Right. Man, I bet you there's some great stories from that like dining crew.
Oh, there's gotta be.
Oh, because they were probably like a super tight group.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh God. Gotta be some great friggin' stories. Austin, if you got some stories, let us know.
I always really liked the dining hall at night. That's, I know. I mean, I mentioned that before, but like specifically in the kitchen too, like when they'd have all the lights turn off and all you heard was like the sound of like the walk-in freezer, like making its noise. There was really cool ambience in there.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go in there and steal cookie dough. Everyone did.
Nice. Hell yeah. Was that like a thing? Like groupie, you made like a 2 a.m. like cafeteria run?
Not really, but like, during the weekends, and by weekends, I mean Saturday.
Okay.
The scouts would leave Saturday morning and then they'd come Sunday afternoon. So like from like Saturday noonish to Sunday noonish, that was your biggest break away from the scouts. So a lot of people would go home for the weekend.
Yeah.
Or they'd go, or they'd group up and go out together, and they wouldn't come back until Sunday. But like, my camp is in Ohio. I live in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
For me to like go home on my quote unquote weekend was like, it was an hour drive and a ton of gas up, an hour drive and a ton of gas back. It wasn't worth it for the most part.
Yeah.
So when I could, and like sometimes they wouldn't allow it because there wouldn't be like, especially when I was like a minor, there wouldn't be adults on, there wouldn't necessarily be adults on campus. So I'd have to like go home. Like that was like a requirement.
Yeah.
But like, as I got older, like, I would usually just stay the weekend, and I liked staying the weekend because like, going to visit family can in itself be kind of exhausting sometimes. So it's the most relaxing to just hang out at the camp.
For sure. Yeah. Family can be exhausting.
Or hang out with my friends. And so, we'd go out and get food, or we'd order food to the camp. But sometimes, it was just you by yourself late at night. And it's like, well, what are my options? So I just sneak into the dining hall, and we had like a staff fridge where we'd keep like ham and cheese and bread that you could like make a sandwich with. But sometimes you just, you steal something out of the fridge or the freezer and eat that instead.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. I remember one time Kyler and I stayed at the camp together. I put Dark Souls 3 on one of the projectors, and I played that in the dining hall all day. That was a fun day.
Nice. You and Kyler, not Kyle.
Not Tyler, not Kyle, not Skyler. Kyler. Stupid fucking name. I hope he's listening. If Kyler ever listens to this, he's going to be pissed.
God. Fucking Kyler. That's not even a fucking name.
It's really not.
No. God.
It's two names pushed together and it's stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not even two names pushed together to make something cool.
It is a little bit cool. I'll give him that, but it does sound stupid.
Yeah. It sounds fucking stupid.
God. I swear every time I bring up the camp, like I just miss it so much.
I bet.
The place is great.
Yeah. R.I.P.
At this point, like I don't even know how many people still work there that I worked with. Like, Dale and Brandon both worked there longer than me, but I think they've each moved on to their own stuff at this point. Kyler worked there about the same amount of time that I did. Like he stopped working there about the same time I did. I think Austin's busy with stuff, so he doesn't go anymore. My boy Justin worked in the tech area with me. He might still be working. I know he was that last year. I don't know if he's doing it this year.
What about that What about like the old guy?
Wishbone?
Wishbone, that's his name.
I mean, Wishbone's probably still working there. He had some health issues, so he might like not be able to work there anymore. But you know, he was retired and he loved scouting, so he had no reason not to work there.
Right. Wishbone, hell of a dude. Love that dude. God, just love that dude.
I missed that shit. If I had the option to just like keep working there and like somehow make enough, or even just live on the camp, I would have. I fucking loved that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was thinking about it the other day, like when it comes to my videos, I feel weirdly like part of why I'm able to write interesting scripts is because of doing summer camp.
Okay.
Because like it's really hard to get a bunch of middle schoolers who are on summer vacation interested in learning about the history of space exploration.
Yeah.
And I definitely struggled with it in my first few years there. But towards the end of it, like I made it really interesting and people really liked going to my merit badges.
Nice.
So I feel like maybe part of why I'm able to like write interesting scripts and make explaining things interesting might be as a result of that, a byproduct of doing that.
I would go listen to you for a merit badge.
Thanks, Mike.
What would the topic be if you were going to present a merit badge to me?
Well, let's see. I did a lot of merit badges. I did space exploration. I did photography, movie making. What the fuck was the merit badge called? Computer science, I think.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'd probably skip that one, but the rest of them I'd go to.
Computer science was fucking difficult to teach because like there really wasn't a lot of like involved aspect of it. Like pretty much all those, like in space exploration, you built a model rocket, and photography, you took photos, and movie making, you made like a little movie. Computer science was like your requirement was like get on the computer and write a Word document. Like that one was so fucking boring. It was so hard to teach that one.
Oh God.
There was so much information to cover and it was so fucking boring. I like begged them every year to take it off of my merit badge roster, and eventually they did.
Was it like trying to teach Tim how to use the computer?
Not really. It's like, you know, teaching Tim to use the computer was a pain because Tim was a fucking crazy old man.
Right. And he used like an abacus to like add up the safe at the end of the night.
With the kids, it's just like some of them were interested, but the merit badge was just fucking boring. Like, you know.
Yeah.
You don't want to hear the history of how microchips came into being at a fucking summer camp.
No.
You're there to have fun.
Yeah. I mean, you inside scouts probably liked it, but other than that, it was...
I didn't find it fucking interesting. Every merit badge in the Boy Scouts of America has two aspects to it. They have the aspect where you're learning the history of whatever the merit badge is about, and you have the aspect where you're actually doing something related to the merit badge. No one fucking likes the history part of it.
No.
There's always like a good amount of it that you have to cover. Like it's not like a small amount of the merit badge. Most of the merit badges are like half history, half doing something.
Yeah.
So, you know, the way I did my classes, like for space exploration, for example, I would cover history for the first chunk of it and models in the second half of it. In the second half of like the class, because if I front loaded history at the beginning of the week, they would lose interest.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like 100%. Like I'd lose people. They would stop going.
Yeah, it's summer. Nobody wants to actually learn anything.
Yeah, and that's how I did it for the bulk of the merit badges. I would like start the day with some history and then like spend the bulk of the class actually doing something. But you couldn't do that with computer science because it was all fucking history or boring. Like here's how you write an Excel document. Here's how you use MS Paint.
Ugh. Yeah, that's not fun.
And not at all. It was the worst. But no, I mean, you know, I think I enjoyed teaching photography the most because that was something I was actively interested in.
Yeah,
and you know, there isn't a ton of history to cover because like photography and movie making are relatively recent introductions.
Right.
So you just get to spend the day like drawing diagrams of like the exposure triangle. And that was kind of fun. Nice. I liked showing kids that.
Nice. Did you like show kids like old movie clips in the film?
Now that you mention it, I think I may have. I don't honestly remember.
I took one like film history, film study class in college, and that was a lot of fun.
Nice.
We watched some old movies and
I really liked taking film study classes. I really didn't like the way a lot of teachers approached it. Like my high school teacher made film study really interesting as best he could, but he still had to be a teacher about it. It's like you'd get like a paper that you had to like answer questions about the film as you were watching as like part of your assignment, because he had to have some assignment aspect of it. You couldn't just watch movies.
Right.
But he tried his best to make like that part of it minimal, and tried his best to like make discussion, like the assignment aspect of it, that you had to like discuss the movie with the class. Yeah. And you didn't really have to be an active participant either. You just needed to be like involved in some way. Yeah. So he made it really interesting. But then like I got into college and I had these professors that they also did like the note taking aspect of it, but they would literally like, they would like read out the plot of them. They do like a presentation on the movie before the film, and they'd like tell you the plot of it. And it's like, well, now it's fucking spoiled for me. I'm watching a 1920s sci-fi movie called Metropolis. Like, really interesting film because they managed to like do sci-fi in the 1920s in an interesting way. And the plot is fucking spoiled for me going in. Right.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah. I had this really, really awkward horror movie teacher. It was just like, I don't know how to describe him. He was like this kid, and he was like the kid who ate alone at lunch in school. Okay. And like, you know, like, cause literally like I was going to lunch one day and I saw him like by himself, and I like waved to him, and he waved like super excited. Like no one had ever tried to wave to him before.
Like, do you think for a second he got excited and thought you were going to sit down and eat with him?
Maybe. He was an interesting guy. Oh, I felt kind of bad for him, but he was weird. So,
do you remember what his name was by chance?
No, I don't.
Okay, because I had a really interesting teacher for my film class that kind of reminded me of that same type of person. I don't remember his name, but if you said a name and it was the same, I would probably remember it.
College professors were interesting. You know, I didn't have many of them, obviously. Right. But, you know, there was college professors like need to get their shit together. Like there are some that are great. You know, I took an interpersonal relationships communications credit as a requirement for the degree that I was pursuing, digital video production. It was like my humanities, right? One of the most interesting classes I ever took. Yeah. Like that teacher fucking killed it. She was awesome. She was very passionate about the subject. She made the assignments worth doing. And she was just a really good professor. Like that, I learned so much from that class, and I had a lot of fun doing it. Yeah. You know, like I had more fun with her interpersonal communications class than I did with some of my film study classes, you know?
Right. Which in theory you would think you would like those more.
Or right. But then I had like or you know what? I also had like a grammar teacher. You know, I had to take grammar credits as part of my degree as well, because I don't know why. I guess I just didn't have transferable college credits from my own grammar classes in high school or whatever. But like, I'm a really good writer. Like I know I can say that about myself. And so literally like I would write. I wrote like 2 rough drafts in that class. And he told me after the second one, he was like, you don't need to bring me your rough drafts anymore. You don't need to be in this class. Just do the papers.
Nice.
Like, what a fucking gamer. Because like he was literally like struggling to come up with things for me to change in my rough drafts, because he was like, this is fine. Like, there's nothing to change about this. Yeah. But then, you know, I had like an economy professor who like, you know, he was the type who like as adults, you'd have to ask him if you could go to the bathroom in the middle of his class. Right. And he was like, go to the bathroom before you get here. Like that kind of shit. And like super like talking down to you, and like had like what a ton of professors do, like that the attendance policies where it's like, if you don't show up for X many classes, you get dropped a letter grade. Yeah. And it's like, this is college. I am paying you. Exactly. I am paying you to teach me. If I don't want to show up and I still get good grades, what fucking difference does it make to you? You're basically getting paid to do nothing.
Right. Yep. Exactly.
Like the professors that wanted to act like high school teachers were the fucking worst. Yeah. Like, we're all adults here and I'm paying you. Treat me like an adult. Yep.
Exactly. No, I agree with you 100%. Like,
I think everybody does. Like, the only people who don't are those professors. Yeah. No one's like, man, I really like how strict this professor is. This guy really takes his shit seriously, and I like that. No one likes that guy.
No, the only classes that I liked where they actually took attendance were the ones that gave me points for attendance.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, like those ones, that was awesome. I would take that because like I had one where I think a third of the grade was attendance. So like,
What, you like that?
well, I liked when I got points for it, but I had ones where like you needed to show up, but if you didn't, you got docked. But I had ones where as long as you showed up, like you were guaranteed to get like, well, not guaranteed, but like say the class was worth like 100 points. You got like 30 points just if you showed up for class.
I do get what you're saying with that, but I also hate that kind of thing. I just don't like the requirement of showing up with college, you know?
Yeah. And I agree with you, but I definitely had classes where like you didn't get points just for showing up, but they would take away points if you didn't.
Oh, well, yeah, fuck that for sure.
Yeah.
I remember I skipped one of my film study classes because I'd already seen the movie and I didn't like it very much. I don't remember what the movie was.
Yeah.
It may have been like, and this isn't to say that I didn't like Star Wars. It may have been Star Wars because like I'd seen that in a few other film history classes, whatever.
Yeah.
Like every film study class watches fucking Star Wars. So like I'd seen it before. And I didn't need to see it again. And he definitely had an attendance policy where like you could only not show up like once. And that was like the time that I chose to not show up. And it's like, it's a film study class.
Right.
If I just watch the movie at home or I've seen it before, why the fuck do you care?
Yeah. Yeah. I get that. I mean, you're paying for the class.
Yeah. If I choose to dock my own education by not showing up and I fail the class as a result, that's a problem for me.
Right.
I have to spend more money, spend more hours to fix that.
Right.
So why the fuck do you care if I'm engaged or not?
Well,
if I choose not to show up for the class and I still ace the class, then, you know, I wouldn't have gained anything from your class anyway.
Right.
I already have whatever skill I needed to foster for my degree to do that.
Right. And if you end up needing to retake it, the school, and in theory, maybe not that same professor, but
some professors getting paid
is going to get paid again.
Yeah. So fucking dumb.
Yeah.
A lot of those professors just need to like step off their high horse, like take a step back, take a deep breath, and like get some fucking reality.
Right. Yeah. Just show up, spit out the information. If someone wants to learn it, fine. If not, it's their dime.
Right. Yeah, I don't understand that. And like I do understand their perspective of it for like certain degrees. Like, you know, if you're going for like a medical degree, then like, I mean, yeah, you should probably show up for that. But like at the same time, it's like, okay, so for a law school, every lawyer in the United States has to pass the bar exam to become a lawyer.
Right.
If they show up for none of their classes, pass all of them, pass the bar exam, then what difference did it make them not showing up for their education? They clearly know the information that they're required to know to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
So that changes nothing. You know, if they decide to not show up for every class and they can't pass the bar exam as a result, then they fuck themselves over. You don't need to like penalize them
right
for that. Their own career will penalize them for that.
Right. Well, have you ever seen the movie Catch Me If You Can?
I have not. I saw part of it.
That's a very solid movie. You should watch that at some point.
I liked what I saw of it.
That is, I don't know how accurate it is, but I know it's at least loosely based on a true story.
Yeah. I know that you keep telling me every time. I won't like spoil it.
The Leonardo DiCaprio character, the one that's like on the run and changing his identity all the time.
Yeah.
At least in the movie, he becomes a lawyer at one point, and the Tom Hanks character who's chasing him the whole time, at one point he asks like, how did you cheat your way through the bar exam in, I don't know, Louisiana or whatever state he was in? And he's like, I didn't. He's like, I just
took the bar exam.
I just read some books, took the bar exam and passed and got a job as a lawyer.
That's the way it should be, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and that is the great part about being like a creative, you know, like no one in the video production world gives a shit where you went to school. They care about what's on your demo reel.
Yeah.
Which is great. But then like there's jobs like, I don't know, fucking like engineer. It's like you have to go to school to do that. And it's like, well, what if you just know how to be an engineer.
Right. Like, can I just like test out of this kind of thing?
There really should be more options to do that, but then the colleges wouldn't get paid. And as we know in America, if the colleges aren't getting paid, society will collapse.
Apparently, yes. That appears to be the case.
Yeah.
Also, the really interesting thing that I noticed when I started looking for jobs like looking for my post world market jobs, I went on a couple interviews before I got the job that I have. The thing that they always told you in like high school and college is like, when you apply for jobs, you got to make sure you bring a copy of your transcripts with you. Not one interview I went on even asked for proof that I graduated college. So I'm super curious, like, you know, if I could have just for years been like, oh yeah, I've got a degree, and they would just take my word for it, or like maybe when it comes time to find a new job again, I'll just be like, yeah, I got a PhD in whatever, and just hope they take my word for it.
I went to Harvard for business.
Yeah,
you know, they probably would check for something like Harvard, but if I told them like, oh, I went to U of M for business, like that, they might not check that.
Right. Or if you're like, I went to Western Michigan and got a communications degree, like they're probably just going to take your word for it. Yeah. Like you can fake it through that, I bet.
Probably. Anyway, fuck education, and thank you for listening to the Breakroom Nachos podcast.
Hell yeah.